Marty Bell, what's all yours?
Oh, first one.
That was nice to say, wasn't it?
Right.
She wanted to make sure everybody knew she had two. See, that's one of three. Let me think what it was.
Right.
That's funny when people say that. Well, I had six last week. Let me think. I don't know. They're all the same.
Well, they were looking for air purifier.
Oh, cool.
But more than that, they had dust everywhere because he's redoing his house. So.
Oh, cool. Okay, that'll work. Tay, what's sold yours?
EJ. That's him.
EJ, what's sold hers?
The guy really liked who my family was.
Oh, you're the one that closed it?
Yeah, that's it.
You went and pulled the celebrity on him, huh? Yeah, if it works, you
No,
gotta
it worked.
do it.
They had dust mite allergies. The kid was allergic to dust mites. I didn't eat it. He made it more comfortable so it was a regular silk.
I don't know you as
Yeah.
Leota. That's pretty.
It's pretty.
It is pretty.
Pretty.
Pretty, not pretty, it's pretty.
Oh, geez.
Okay, LT, what sold it?
Our Rainmate?
Rainmate did?
Yes.
What closed it?
But they had allergies.
They had
Yes,
allergies?
bad.
Liz, Jeff, Liz, Tay, what sold this one?
Oh, the lady was last night allergic to dust mites, everything. He had asthma, all that stuff.
That'll work.
She was-
Marty Bell, what sold that one?
They were really sick, and they had a rainbow like 15 years ago. So
Oh,
they've
you
been
were in the
looking.
right house.
They've been looking.
You were in the right house at the right time. Jeff, what sold his? Jeremy, what sold yours?
I wouldn't leave the house until I got hold of it.
Track me down like a dog, huh?
Yeah, that's that one, huh?
No, that's that one. Good job. Justin, Felicia, Marcus, Jonathan, Jeremy. What sold that one?
She was 30 years old and sleep apnea.
Oh, okay. Melvin, Eli, Stephen, Melvin.
Laura. Laura. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Nate, Tristan, that's new. Justin, Marion, Phil, Destiny.
Destiny's Jeremy.
I know. What sold it? Were you with her?
No, she's solo.
Oh, she sold her mom. Yeah, that's it.
It was all.
Laura, John, Cabritha, Felicia, and George. Well, there we go. What do you guys want help on? LT, what do you want help on?
How to transition from the order. But I need to step from,
You just need the basic order?
yes.
Okay. The basic order, what point I'm supposed to make at each part? That might be a good one. We got some new people. That may not be a bad one to put up on. Hello, David.
Hey, how's it going?
Okay, here we go. Rainmate. Right? Now, what are you supposed to get done there? Facebook. And get them where they want 2 or 3 rainmates. Right? Okay, now, Mr. Jones, you need one for your bedroom. One for your bedroom because you snore. Now, Mrs. Jones, you need one for the kitchen because they told you what? Hello? Because you told me, just like when you do the green stuff, you gotta ask a question, what's the toughest odor to get rid of in your house? What odor gives you the most hassle? That's why she needs one for the living room. And then you got little Susie over there that's asthmatic. And that's what that person needs. So now you've got your 3 places. Okay, now what's next? The light show. 17 times. And what are you supposed to do? Create one major dust problem and stir up their allergies. Because you're breaking the floor, you're pounding the couch, you're talking about it, and all of that. Okay, now what's next?
Vacuum.
The what?
Major?
The water wash.
Oh, the water wash. Oh, we're going in that order.
That is the order.
I know. I thought we were talking about like the.
No, because what's next after that? The back kill.
Yeah. Always the same.
Now what's next? The mattress. Now what's next? Power nozzle. Now what's next? The attachments. Now what's next? The jug?
Oh, mini bags
Proof
before the
book?
jug.
Oh, we're gonna do a mini vac this time?
Yep.
Then we go to the proof book. And then what's next? The jet,
Yep.
the Aquamate,
Scott.
And then Scott's last.
Great. So in water wash, the question should be, will that get your hair clean? That's your transition clothes. Will that take care of your hair? Oh, absolutely. So there's only one other thing you'd like to know. Have you ever kind of wondered where dust comes from? How many of you are asking that question? You ever kind of wondered where dust is coming from? And how to get rid of it? Well, that's what I'm gonna do. The time I'm gonna be here, that's all I'm gonna do, is I'm gonna show you where all your dust comes from and why you can't get rid of it. Because you can have the best air cleaner in the world right there. But if you don't do the next step, you can't clean the air in your house. They've got to understand that. Okay, now the vac kill does what?
Destroys the deck.
It's why you've got that problem. It's why you have all those allergies. It's why your family's got a cold all the time. That's why you're buying all these candles to take care of the odor after you use it. That's why your husband snores. We've got to make sure that we're making that point. Okay, now the transition into the mattress is, would you agree with the carpet's filthy? But if I told you there's a place in the house that's 10 times worse than your carpet, would you want to know where it's at? How about if I told you you don't even clean it? Would you want me to clean it? Okay, now when you pull that first cloth, what's the question? What is it? Because that's when it's funny what they tell you. Because how many of them get the answer? How many of them get the answer right? Jeremy, you asked that question. What's the answer you get?
Some will say their skin, others will say dust, some will say their sheets.
When you, before you get to the part where you put it and all that, what do you do when you feel like they're resisting, they don't want you in the bedroom? What do you say?
Well, are they saying they don't want you, or you're feeling like it? Because if it's a feeling, you're right, they don't. Yeah, the feelings you're feeling is exactly right. It's going to be an uncomfortable situation at that point, but you've got to go in there and do it. Or if not, go get the kid that has asthma. Or go get the kid that's got allergies. You already know who has asthma and who has allergies.
Is it better to, like, ask that couple to look at their bedroom, or could you just say, let me go to your kid's bedroom instead?
Well, I'm automatically gonna go to the kids
Okay.
if they've got real bad asthma. Because who are they most apt to help? The asthmatic kid. Okay, now after that, I can take and end up in theirs. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because I still want to do their mattress. Because see, that's how you're gonna prove the point, because where's the newest mattress in the house?
Mom and Dad.
Mom and Dad's? Who's got the oldest mattress in the house? The kids. It's the hand-me-down mattress. That was grandma's mattress.
Yeah, I'm saying that because we had went to a house and I mean the house was like absolutely filthy. So that lady was like, no, I don't want you in my bedroom, which like I understand, but it's like okay, when you're there and now that she set that boundary, of course I'm not gonna cross it. But how can I make her still feel like good? You know what I'm saying? Like the tension level.
Tension's gonna be there.
Yeah, it's an uncomfortable job. It's an uncomfortable situation.
Yeah, doing a mattress is gonna be uncomfortable.
They're gonna be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You have to be in control.
The only one that's gonna want you to do their bed is a kid.
Yeah, because they can explain.
Or if it's an older couple, say, well, you got the extra bed, the extra bedroom, let's do it. And then when they see what's in it, if I've got my mileage out of it, they're gonna wanna see what's in theirs. How old's your mattress? 2 years old? Wouldn't you be curious to see what's in it? Come on, let's go.
Thank you for saying that. That video that you do, and I know our personality is different, but that video attitude, which way, let's go which way is, start leading them to the bedroom. Start leading them to the bedroom is shown on the video, and then their objection, I'm not here to inspect, just keep going. I'm not here to inspect, because whatever the reason is, they don't want to see how nasty they are.
Here's another thing that breaks it down. This is the power nozzle box.
Bring it.
Is it in the husband's hand?
Yes, sir.
Is it in the husband's hand? Here, you grab this. You're taking this. Here, Mrs. Jones, you're carrying that. Let's go. Where are we going? Just keep going. And you walk down that hallway. Bedrooms can't hide in normal homes. Because 9 times out of 10, if I'm in the living room, there's a door or two off that living room. There's a bedroom. Now, whose room's this? Oh, that's little Johnny. Well, let's go in there then. Well, that's ours. Well, let's go in there. Well, I don't really want you there. I don't blame you. Come on.
Hey, Scott, another key component is being ready to go. You can't have your rainbow still plugged in while you have it ready to go.
You got the cord in your hand. You got the rainbow in this hand. She's carrying the hose. He's got the power nozzle. Now we're ready to go.
Then you ask.
Then you ask. So you get all that stuff ready. Come on, let's go. And here's the sad thing about it is, this is gonna sound ugly, because most people are puppets.
Yeah.
Even in their own home. And most of the obstacles in this business are in your head. You create it. Okay, now, if it was like when I got into business, you gotta remember, I got into business in the early 80s. You didn't have TVs in bedrooms. You didn't have a couch in the bedroom. Kids didn't go in the bedrooms. See, nowadays, bedrooms are living rooms. Have you ever went into a bedroom, there wasn't a TV? They're old as shit. Does that make sense? They're older than Cooter Brown. And what the hell are you in that house in the first place for? Does that make sense? 90% of the homes, there's all of them have. You go in the bedrooms. There's TVs in every one of the bedrooms. That's just the world we live in. Does that make sense? See, you've got to get over it, and then it won't be a problem. But it's also your age. And all you'd have to do around and turn around and say, the only way I get paid is if I show you, come on. And they're gonna fold like a cheap tent, and they're gonna let you go do it. Does that make sense? Just be a little bit more persistent. Not pushy, persistent. Like having all your stuff ready. That was perfect, Steve. You've got to have it all ready. And then what you do, because then you don't have anything, because if you don't have it ready, now it's easy to stop you. But see, if you've got it all ready, come on guys, let's go. Where are we going? Over here, come on. But see, if you say, we're going to your bedroom, oh, whoa, no, we're not. It's the only way I get paid. Come on, let's go.
I'm not here to inspect anything you throw out, just keep going.
Just keep going. People are literally like puppets. They will follow you.
Well, that husband today, I actually had the actual flow to go in order. And he was going to the bedroom, but the wife was like, no.
They always go to the bedroom.
I gave him the power
Husbands
nozzle,
don't
I
give a
handed it
shit.
to him, and.
Does that make sense? Husbands
The
don't
wife-
care.
The wife took me another way. Oh, no. So she took me to the boys' room that had sickle cell, so I emphasized the compromised, immune system.
That's where, that right there is where you need to take and pull back out your CDC sheet. You need to pull back out your CDC sheet. Anytime you get in a house that they're recovering cancer, or they're old and they get pneumonia, they've got this, anything that deals with an attacked immune system, you need to take and pull out the CDC sheet. Because the bottom one that I make a joke out of, that I can't pronounce it because it's over my pay grade, holy shit, you're gonna attend this meeting? Get a camera. Put this shit on tape. This will be the first time he's ever attended a meeting. Let me get you a chair, King. King Tut. Here, slide back. We gotta get even front row. Slide back, scoot over. Holy hell, Frank's here. Oh my God, Frank's here. You hush.
Hey, you don't want to hear that. Scott don't want to hear it. He want to hear what he want to hear. Hey, Scott, another thing that's important about it is that when you wind up going in because sometimes you wind up going to the other room, right? You let them know now, if one person's sleeping here, imagine what it's like with two full bodies. You let them
You
know
gotta
they don't
get
back.
creative to get back in that master bedroom. Because the point you've gotta make, if that mattress is only 2 years old, your biggest pitch is you still need to clean it. If it was 8 years old and they need to say, well, we know, we need to replace it. You can go buy a brand new one. If you priced them, they're $4,000, $5,000, $6,000. It's in 60 days, it's gonna be just like this one. Because you're not taking care of it. You're not cleaning it. Does that make sense? See, one of the things you gotta realize, if you go in and they have no carpet, you better make sure your mattress demo's kicking. If it ain't kicking, you just lost the biggest thing about it is, because what about mattress replacement? Not carpet replacement, mattress replacement. Have you went and done some pricing on mattresses? What'd you find?
2,000 plus seemed like.
You wouldn't find a good one. Hey, you gotta go to the nice store, not the damn ghetto banging store.
Right.
If you go to the nice store, do you know where they start? 4 or 5. You know which one my wife liked? The $10,000 one. You know which one my wife got?
10,000.
Yeah. Right? You know which one your wife had got if I got her shopping?
5,000.
You're full of shit. Your wife ain't no different than mine. It's called high maintenance. And we're both wimps and we say yes too often. Right? Happy wives, a happy life. Right? But see, you've got to have a mattress renovator. You got to have a mattress. What's it going to cost you to replace that mattress? How many mattresses you got in the house?
There you go, that's the next one.
See, right there, you've got 4 of them. But you can go buy all new mattresses. Go take $20,000 and buy all new mattresses. And see, it's just like carpet. You can go and buy $20,000 and spend and get all new carpet. But you got the same thing you've got. That's one of the reasons in that mattress demo, you've got to get some value out of accumulation. All this stuff didn't come from the last 2 days. It ain't came since you hadn't vacuumed in 3 weeks. It's taken you 4 years to get it this filthy. See, you've got to do the same thing with that mattress, and that's one of the reasons you've got to get in both mattresses. Because see, when you get into a close, you've got mattress replacement is expensive. Because you're not going to buy a cheap if you go buy the cheapest mattress there is, you're looking at $500, $600, $700. But you're not getting much. There ain't a husband and wife that's going to replace it for less than $4,000 or $5,000. Because that's about what they run. Okay. Any more questions on the mattress? Key thing is when you pull that first cloth is what is it? I don't know, what is it? Think about it. We talked about dust mites earlier. What do dust mites eat? Dead skin. Where do you sleep? Dead skin. Where do you spend more? There's not a place in the world that you spend more time than right here. So all that dead skin is sloughed off's in here, and the dust mites are eating, and they're pooping, and they're giving you allergies. You really want to find out how that it is? Here, go get me a spoon and a lighter, and we'll light this dead skin, and you tell me what it smells like. Oh, you don't have, no, we ain't doing that. But just by making that statement, you might as well have lit that dead skin. Does that make sense? But see, this is where you've got to build a lot of value. Here's where all the allergies are coming in. If you've got an attacked immune system, that's the last thing you need. Go back and read those articles about dust mite poop. Dust mite poop can get it so toxic it'll kill them. Power nozzle, first cloth needs to have a ton of crap on it. Because ultimately what you're trying to do is the fifth cloth needs to almost be clean. And when any new dealers I went out and watched, 9 times out of 10, because somebody went and taught them, when it pitches out, you need to stop. Hell, that means when you take a vacuum cleaner out and you do one stroke, you'd be throwing it out the door and getting another one. Because they pitch out that fast. No, you need to make sure that you're going over and you're getting 90% of that out. You got to get all the hair out. When you take and you pull that cloth out and you shake that hose, there may be a string of hair this long. But that second cloth, there better not be any, but maybe about this much stacked up. If you're not getting that much of a drastic change between the first one and the second one, you're not cleaning enough with the first going over. Here's another thing you also got to realize. I can come in here and I can go over and do 30 strokes. And when I come back and I'm doing the one that I'm just saying, okay, now let's see how, let's get it all, now let's take and see if we can really get it all out. I'm gonna get rid of this cloth. Y'all know where I'm at? I've already pulled my 5 claws. Can you sit there and keep cleaning until you know you've got it all out? They're gonna remember the time you took there. They're not gonna remember the time you took on the first one, or the second one, or the third one. Make sense? See, when I do this one over here, if you remember what I do, it's like, think that's enough, or should I go over one more time? That's plenty. That's all I've done it. But see, when I go over here and I pull that first one, I'm pulling it off a bigger square like this. When I'm over here, I'm only cleaning a square like this. But the thing that I'm doing here, you got to remember, first impression is the lasting impression. You will never get another chance to blow their skirt up like you can right now. You need to blow them away. I need, oh my God, this house is filthy. Holy shit, you found all that there? That's what I want from them. You have one chance and one chance only to get that from them. And that's one of the reasons you need to make sure that that first cloth, when you pull it out, I'm hoping there's a string of hair this long. And it looks like a damn ferret.
And it's a different color, and that's what's in the house.
Yeah, because that right there is an animal that lived there before them. And that's got all the natural, you know, that's got all the stuff in the world. That's just another deal. That's what makes the difference. Because I've got that. So when I get to that fourth cloth, it's like, how old's this carpet? Well, I really don't know. It was here when we moved in. So you've been here how long? 2 years? Did you buy a brand new vacuum cleaner because you had a brand new house? Yep. Do you know how many people do that? That's what they do.
That's
That's a new girl calling out.
Larry.
Make sense? So but the thing about it is that first cloth, that second cloth, they need to be, by the third cloth, it needs to be like day and night how much filth's in it. And your fourth and your fifth cloth, because now I know how much time do I really need to spend to get a clean cloth. Hell, you can just pull another cloth and never go over it more than 2 or 3 times, and you know it's going to be clean because your fourth and your fifth cloth is clean. Okay, now the fourth cloth is, how old is this carpet? You know, I really don't know. It was here when we got here. Well, how long did y'all live here? 3 years. Did you know the people who lived here before you? Nope. Okay, now I'll tell you one of the things that I found is whoever lived here before had a dog. And you guys don't have a dog. And 9 times out of 10, that's been an argument between him and her. I told you there was a dog in this house. I knew it. And you said, no, there wasn't. There was a dog in this house. Guess what? It was a yellow dog. It's got yellow hair. You were right. There is a dog in this house. And I'm going to get a lot of mileage out of it. It's still here. You never moved out. You just don't have to clean up its pee and poop. Well, yeah, you do, because it's still here.
So,
What is it?
She's announced Curry, and I can go Curry Thursday, pay cash for it, they're taking it back, and what is the cash plan?
Okay, does that make sense? But see, that's what you've gotta do. You gotta have that fourth cloth, it's all accumulation. Well, this carpet, this carpet's 2 years old. So this is how much you've accumulated in 2 years. You know what it would scare me? What's it gonna look like in 4 years? This carpet's really only 2 years? Really? Serious? You've got all these stains and all this filth in 2 years? I got a dumb question for you. Why did you get new carpet? Because it looked just like this. I'm gonna tell you right now, unless you figure out some way to keep it clean and take care of it, you don't need to spend any more money on carpet. Oh, I know, I told her that. If she don't take care of this carpet, we ain't getting any new carpet. We ain't gonna do that crap again. There ain't hell no way. What'd you spend on this carpet? I spent $4,000. You just found $4,000 value right there. And that's the questions you've gotta ask. See, now when I come back and I take and I pull the fifth cloth, I'm gonna ask them, how often do you vacuum? Well, did you buy a brand new vacuum when you got new carpet?
Yeah.
You know what the easiest carpet in the world to keep clean is? A brand new one. This one here did not, the one you got didn't keep a new carpet clean. You really use it? How often do you say you used it? When you turn it on, does the motor run? Is it going boom, boom? Do you plug it in? That's the thing that you gotta do. Now you come out and so let me ask you a question, Mr. Jones. I got a question for you, Mrs. Jones. Using what you're using, what's the chance of you ever getting this condition out? It's here. You've had 2 years with a brand new carpet and you couldn't get it out. What are you gonna do to it now? I know what you could do. You could paint it fluorescent pink. Put some polka dots on it. Put a siren on it. Have the Pope bless it. And clean one more time a week. Would it work then? Okay, now me and you are gonna use the rainbow. You think we can get all this out?
Yeah.
That is your commitment question that you've got to use to cash that objection. Does that make sense? Okay, now I'm gonna get rid of the cloth, and let's really see if we can get it all out. Okay, how many times do you think I ought to go over this? One more? Or is that enough? That's enough. Okay, now what emotion did you just take them through? It isn't gonna take me long to get this out. See, and another statement I'm gonna make is, it's taken you 2 years to get it this way. How long is it taking me to get it to this? That's another thing that you've gotta make a point. Right? Okay, so now I get the first cloth. What do you do with all the hair? I don't know what you do with it.
Ask them this. No, I'm just
Which one of these conditions do you want? Do I have to ask why? Which one do you want?
that one, of course.
You want the clean one? Why?
Because it's clean. I don't want that.
That's why you bought new carpet.
Yeah.
See what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna keep pushing that button. It's like Pavlov's dog. I'm gonna keep hitting it. So they don't have to think about it. Just because you made the point once, does that mean they're gonna remember it? No, you've gotta keep bringing stuff up. Okay, guess what? There's 2 houses in this neighborhood. You guys are in the market to buy a new one. And guess what? The 2 houses in this neighborhood look just like yours. Everything's the same. Matter of fact, one of them uses the same sweeper you use. They've got this same condition. And guess what? What do you say? What do you say at that point? What's the statement that you're supposed to say?
Are you willing, this house is $100 more.
No?
No.
What are you supposed to say it there? What's the commitment there that you're supposed to say?
If there's the two different houses,
Uh-huh.
which one would you rather live in?
We've already asked that. What's the next one?
Would you spend an extra $100 for 30 years?
No, we missed one in there.
Talking about the two-house story, and then this one has this condition, they're gonna live in it for the rest of their life.
Boom, right there. How many of you are making the statement that this poor lady uses the same vacuum cleaner you use, and this is basically the condition they're gonna have to live in the rest of their lives? Does that make sense? Because see, if you don't make that statement, and you come back later and you make the statement, you realize one thing: if this rainbow leaves, this is what you're gonna live in the rest of your life. They're not gonna remember where they've heard that before. Make sense? It's like I've heard that somewheres. I don't want to live in that the rest of my lives. Honey, I really don't want to live in that the rest of my lives. But see, you've got to make that statement right there, and that's what changes it. Have you got it in yours?
Not powerful, yeah.
But you will have it. I'll bet you tonight it's in there. There's two houses in the neighborhood that are for sale, and they're both absolutely identical to yours. This poor family here uses the same sweeper that you do. They vacuum 3 times a week. And guess what the bad thing about it is? This is exactly what they're going to live in the rest of their lives. Can you imagine that? Now this family over here, they use a rainbow. This is what their house looks like. Now which house would you buy? Why? So you'd spend, here's the deal, it's an extra $100 though. It's $100 a month more. So you pay $100 a month more to have a clean house? Okay, now if you put that house on a 30-month term, that's an extra $36,000 you're gonna pay for a clean house. You know what the cool thing about this whole deal is? Rainbow's not $36,000. See, but you just planted a seed in there that's major time. Okay, now the next thing that you need to do is that clean cloth needs to go back to her. That needs to be in her hand. Not on the floor, not in his hand, in her hand. Because who's the hardest sale in a house?
Why?
The wife. Because we're programmed to do what as a mother? Sacrifice. It is. It is. And see, you've got to learn how to play all of the games. See, you can do the basic demo and get all of this in, and you can have a 1 out of 3 closing average. But if you want to get 50% closing average, 60% closing average, you want to make a 6-digit income, you're going to have to put the time in. Okay, so there's the power nozzle. Attachments. The major point you make in the attachments. Whatever goes in here, it doesn't end up back out there. You smell dust. You never will with a rainbow. Once you get it in here, once it goes down there, it's gone. You flush it down the toilet. That's where it all should be. And that's the point you're making in the attachments. Oh yeah, my house smells, I don't smell dust. And you normally would. Okay, now wherever you decide to have them, and some of you need to make sure that they're using the machine more so your water's dirtier. Your water needs to be as black as Toby's butt. It needs to be where you can't see through it. Does that make sense? It needs to be coal-ass black. And that's what you need to do. But we need to clean more with it. So that you just got some dirty-ass water. Because see, that's what's going to make a difference. Because see, there's your closing tool. That's what you're going to keep putting back in their hand. Those of you that's been around forever all remember that story about Angie Keller sat at the table with the husband and wife. And she kept sliding that jug back over to the husband and asking him a question for 20 minutes. And he said, I'm not buying anything. Well, this is what you're gonna live in. Do you wanna live in it? She goes, oh, you don't have to ask me. I already want this thing. He's the problem, not me. And he'd slide it back over, and she'd slide it back over. They did it for 20 minutes. Because he had the, you know, it wasn't a money objection. We don't know what the hell the objection really was. And it makes a difference. Okay, so you've got your attachments. The mini vac. Now I'm gonna show you why your vacuum cleaner never get this clean. I know you turn it on. I was making a joke out of that. I'm gonna show you why that a regular vacuum cleaner can never clean it. And then the other thing that you need to do is you need to kill the market. After you've done the mini vac and they understand it, but how many of you are doing a reference point and referencing the filter on the air conditioner? Every woman knows that that has to be changed. Every man knows he has to change the air filter on his car. And that's where you've got. Now the mini vac, proof book, you gotta do a rain jet, you gotta do an your Aquamate. That's the order you gotta get in. Okay, real quick, what'd you get out of the meeting that'll help you?
Just to make sure that the first cloth is the worst.
Make it bad enough that you can get it clean before you ever go to your no cloths.
Be more powerful.
Are you gonna live in this the rest of your life? Yeah.
Yeah, because when you get down to the end, it's like, let me tell you how simple this really is. See, I do mine a little bit different. See, right up front, I tell them right up front, let me tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna find more filth in your house and you're gonna wanna live there. Then it's a real easy decision at the end. If you want it out or you want it in. But you have to be, it's a little hard to articulate at the front for new people. That's why I pulled it out. But that's what I'm gonna do up front. I'm playing for real when I go in the house. They got my paycheck and I'm gonna leave with it.
No, that's right. No, that's.
I'm not there for games. It's on like Donkey Kong when I'm in the house. What'd you get out of the meeting?
Be consistent but not switching.
Exactly. The mattress, that helped you out a lot?
Very.
Two house scenario. That's good. I wanted to hear you do it.
What do you want me to
I
do?
worked on it.
No, I can't, I heard it.
Oh, you got it now, you taped it. Yeah, no, I see that.
Yeah.
Okay, so, Tay, what'd you get out of the meeting? We'll come back.
Yeah.
Mattress.
Yes, but also, I guess, getting this attention.
Okay.
Putting prices on the mattresses and turning
Okay.
Mattress with no carpet, no carpet mattress, value of mattress. And are you gonna live in this for the rest of your life? Handing it to the lady, cause that's my issue. 'Cause these females are like, the husband wants it, but like today, she was like, no, and he kept reading the fecal matter on the thing, and he was looking at her like, I want it, and she was just like, wow.
Well, and see, again, then where you may hit it is, let me ask you a question, you've got a sick kid. Now, if your doctor told you that this needs, you know, you've gotta tie it back to that sick kid. It needs to be out of the house with a sick kid.
He was getting ready to do it, but she, she started like pushing me out the door, helping me pack my stuff up.
Yeah, she was afraid he was gonna buy it. What'd you get out of it?
I think we're trying to say the fact about, living this for the rest of their life.
Because that poor family's gonna live in this the rest of their lives. Okay, now this is where Rainbow's at. This is the condition they're gonna live in the rest of their lives. So you've gotta make that separation.
The two house story that I would like to hear it all the way through because I'm recording it.
You would?
Frank, I think it's.
Like, don't like me no more.
I told you to close that deal yesterday and you would. If you'd have closed that deal yesterday and let us lollygagging around, So now what do you want me to do? Do it just for you?
Yeah. You're amazing, thank you.
You got it, all right?
Look, yeah, everyone's got it. Okay,
But you probably need to start from power nozzle, because you're doing power nozzle.
I just want to do that. Thank you.
are you taping it?
Uh-huh.
Right now?
Uh-huh.
So it's getting all this too?
Turn it off.
Okay, we're okay. We're good. So we got two clogs. We got a dirty one and a clean one. Okay, which one of these conditions you want? Why?
I don't want to live in dirty.
Which one do you want, sir?
I like clean one, of course.
You like the clean one? Well, guess what? You guys didn't know this, but you're in the market to buy a new home. There's two homes in this neighborhood that are identical the same. They have the same floor plan, but there's a couple little differences. This house here, they use the same sweeper that you do. She cleans 3 times a week. But the unfortunate thing about it is that family's gonna live in this condition the rest of their lives because of the cleaner they use. Now, this family here uses a Rainbow, and this is what they're gonna live in the rest of their lives. So which one, oh, there is a difference between these two. This house here is an extra $100 a month. Which house would you buy? Why?
Cause I don't want to live in.
You're tired of living in the old one? Which house would you buy?
I spend $36,000.
How'd you figure that already?
Oh, my
You've seen this demo before. You know it'd be 36,000 over a 30-year term on that note.
Analytical guy, Mr. Analytical.
The neat thing about it is, a Rainbow's not 36,000. Steven, what'd you get out of the meeting?
I always create more value